This is Open Dialogue. Thank you so much for joining. You guys, what is up? Who gave this bitch a microphone? I don't know. If you know me in real life, you know that this podcast has been coming to fruition for a long time. Welcome to the first official podcast of Open Dialogue. You guys, this has been in fruition for a long time. When we get to our check-in topic, I'm gonna play you guys something really vulnerable for me, but I did want to make a quick note just initially to say thank you to everybody who's pushed me to do this. Thank you to every person that supported me. Thank you to my ex that bought me this fucking microphone. Like, thank you to every person that's pushed me in this direction, because it's truly something I feel like for a long time I've known I'd be good at and have just been too afraid to put myself out there for. And that's kind of, something that I personally have struggled with for a long time, is not just believing in myself enough, which I know that I'm sure everybody does. Everybody doubts themselves. This was my thing that I've been doubting myself in. And so to be here, to be doing this, to be recording myself, to be executing on it is just, it feels great and it feels validating. And I feel like I'm keeping a promise to my inner child. So thank you to everybody for watching. If you've made it, if you are listening, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to find more about the podcast, you can always follow us. God, I almost choked and died just now. You can always follow us at opendialogue.pod, P-O-D, on Instagram. It'll be where all of our socials are. I'm going to create a TikTok for the pod, so you can find my clips there. I am your host at You Want More, Jenay Mohr. This is Open Dialogue. Thank you so much for joining. I want to play this recording for you guys and be really vulnerable for a minute, because this is literally my voice memos app. This is from January 3rd, 2021, and this is me talking about starting my podcast and basically laying out all the things I want for the podcast. So I just want to play this because we're going to talk about a check-in topic. I want to have basically a topic at the beginning of each podcast just to check in, just to dive a little deeper, just to get a little more granular, just something maybe that's either come to mind. It doesn't have to be pop culture. It doesn't have to be important. It just has to be something that I've been really marinating on for the week. And so this week's check-in topic, I'm going to announce within this recording. But yeah, without further ado, let's expose myself from 2 years ago. Interview people. I want to talk shit. I want to gossip. I want to talk politics. I want to do it all. I literally don't want it to be filtered. I truly want open dialogue, conversations, different opinions, different people, and mostly just dope content that people can relate to. So if that sounds like you, your vibe, or anything that you're interested in, please follow right along. I feel so gratified. I feel so proud of myself. I can't wipe the smile off my face. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Let's get into our check-in topic. So this week, I've really been giving a lot of thought to, and I actually mentioned it in this, but now I'll try to find a way to clip the audio into this so that you guys can hear it, because I wanted to play it for you. But in that audio, it was talking about how we innately as humans, or believe, some people believe, not everyone believes, that we have callings, things we're good at, things we're naturally good at. And I've felt for a long time, literally since childhood, that I knew I was meant to be some sort of orator, meant to help people, meant to work with people, meant to be really good with my words, meant to just create in a certain way. I've not always known the medium that I would create in, but I've always innately known that I would be doing something similar to what I'm doing now. Even as a kid, I've always known, you guys. Do you believe that? Do you believe that as kids we can know what we are almost predestined to do or have inklings? Do you believe that we can have these innate natural born talents? I'm so interested to hear your guys' perspective. So please leave comments. Please, let us know what you think. Comment down below. I'm sure if you're watching this. But really marinate on that. Think about what you used to, think about when you were a kid. What am I going to be? What, I'm going to grow up and my life's going to look like this or whatever. I've thought about that so many times over that it's there's so many things when I was younger that I feel I just innately knew about myself, whether it was I'm going to, have a job where I put myself out there, or I'm going to have a podcast, or I'm going to write a book. There's so many of those aspects that have come to fruition for me in my life. So I'm at some points I'm am I psychic? Is it me? Or is it truly, the innate talents that we're born with? So I guess this could be a nurture versus nature question ultimately, but I would love to hear your guys' perspective on the check-in topic. I would love to hear your insight if you have felt this way personally, or if you as a child kind of had the same resolve, because I seriously felt that way. And I still feel that way. I've always been that type of girl that's I will make it, I'll be successful, I'm gonna do what I want to do, I'm gonna work on my passions, and here I am, bitch. So let me know what you guys think. That's this week's check-in topic, and if you have anything to add to it, your 2 cents, I would love to hear it. Without further ado, let's get into the actual topic of today. So I'm going to break down each episode. Typically, I would love for you guys to send letters. I'm going to open up an email, just an anonymous email, so you can either send letters in or you can submit them anonymously if you want myself and my future guests to talk about them. Of course, we'll try to, keep the topics pretty. So I think that that's kind of how I'm going to go with it. But today, this is all about me. This is my episode. This is my solo episode, my first episode. And I wanted to be really transparent with you guys about stuff I've been going through, about my life, about just the inner workings of Jenay Mohr. And so kind of on that journey, I guess I kind of would need to fill you in. So I've had a lot of change in my life, and the last, I would say 2 to 5 years have been really tumultuous. A lot of change, good and bad, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of life lived. And there's so many areas that I've had to learn to be patient with myself. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but it's so easy in our society to beat yourself the fuck up over all the little things, all the indecision on my end. Or I want this, but no, I actually want this, but now I want this. Or just little things. I was eviscerating myself year over year, almost beating myself down for stuff that I do need to learn. You don't learn unless you do, and you're not always going to do the right thing. So there's a lot of aspects in the last 2 to 5 years that I've really had to learn the hard way. It's almost like karmic lessons. And if you guys, if you want to talk about karmic lessons, I will make an episode about karmic lessons, because that is just very real. In thinking about my own personal growth and my own personal journey, I've needed to go through all of these mountains and valleys to be the person that I am today. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that shit. Sometimes I have to be patient with myself to say, okay, you guys, this ain't always pretty, this ain't always easy, this ain't always, it's not always gonna look good, but here I am, showing up, doing the work, working on myself, learning from the things that I've done, apologizing when I need to, being accountable, and that's what matters. Not me beating myself up isn't going to teach me the lesson. And I feel like I am mind fucking blown. If you're any of my friends that have listened to this, yes, this is me. Nobody's taking me hostage. I'm mind blown that I can even say that. There's been so many areas in my life that I've had to rework and reteach myself and re-heal myself, because I used to be the bitch beating myself up all the time. And then I would let other people beat me up too. And it's like, if we're not having grace and patience with ourselves, you're not going to have it with other people, one. But two, it's not going to help you grow. You're stunting your own growth. And that was something I really needed to learn. So that's been a huge aspect of growth for me. And I would love to understand your guys' perspectives on that. And if you've, had that, I don't know if it was 25. I don't know if it's because I'm getting closer to 30 now that I am, 20. I feel like year over year, the lessons have gotten harder, and they've gotten, harder to learn, but also harder to almost heal from. So I think that has just been a huge, huge aspect of my life as of late, is reminding myself that I don't need to beat myself up. I can learn my lesson without hanging me out to dry. I can advocate for myself. I think the innate need, especially as women in a society, which we will get down this road, but to be reminded that I am innately good. I am innately whole. I am innately beautiful. I'm deserving of love. I'm deserving of good, true, whole, loving, just perfect love. Nothing's perfect, but you get what I'm saying. And no mistake I make can ever take that away from me. And to say that and to believe that, who am I, you guys? This was not the bitch that was here 2 years ago. I wouldn't even be able to look at myself in the mirror and say those things. Maybe I believed them. Maybe I said them, in my mind to myself, but I wouldn't be able to say them or much less broadcast them on this podcast. And every human deserves that right. To be able to say that about themselves. Every person should be able to say, I'm deserving of love. I'm deserving of good, true, beautiful, unfiltered love. And I really hope whoever it is, if you're listening to this, you feel that you can say that about yourself. If not, I urge you to sit with yourself and take time. And personally, I'm a huge journaler. I'm an overthinker to my core, so journaling really helps me. I'm a runner, a worker-outer too, to tire myself out. It was really through journaling that I was able to see that I was able to realize the ways I was talking to myself, to be like, holy shit, I would never say this stuff to a friend. I would never give advice to my girlfriend like that, or talk to a partner this way. Why am I being so hard on myself? And I've done some ugly things, y'all. We'll get into that too. I've done some ugly things in my past. We've all done ugly things in our past, but that doesn't make you less deserving of love. And I think that's sometimes, something we need to be reminded of as well, and really reiterate to ourselves, especially in hard times, that nothing takes that. Nothing takes it. You always have that value as a person. You're always valuable as a person. You're always deserving of love, of health, of happiness. all of those pieces. And whether it's the way you thought it was going to come to you, or whether it's the way it ends up actually coming to you and it's not your plan, it all happens in the perfect timing that it's supposed to. And the less we try to control and grab and grasp to that, the easier it comes to us. Oh my God, you guys, I have been fucking leaning into my I do not chase, I attract energy. I am sitting back. I am being open. I am loving, knowing what the fuck I want, but still, I'm waiting for it to come to me. There's a situation that I'm currently in, I'm not going to get too crazy into it, where I realize what I want was not aligning with how I was acting, with what I really wanted. I reached out to this person and I made my intentions clear. I put my feelings out there. I was vulnerable. And it was not 100% reciprocated. It really wasn't, you guys. I'll be honest with you. And that hurt my feelings. That made me really, really low and just... It made me feel like shit. It makes you feel like shit when nobody, reciprocates what you're feeling. And I started to question those core beliefs. I started to be like, am I lovable? Is it me? Do I not deserve this? Is he just, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't deserve him. Maybe I don't deserve the love that we have. And all of that's bullshit. If I can sit here and be accountable and be open and vulnerable and realize the areas I learned in, I deserve love. I deserve patience. I deserve good, true love. And so do you. So don't let your past or anything like that define whether you believe that love is out there, whether you believe that you are love and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and all the fruits of the Spirit. And honestly, that's on the Bible, okay? Because that's something that I've had to reiterate to myself, even as I've been going through just a lot of these transitions in the past few months of just being like, you know what? No, you are all of these pieces. You are all of these little micro things. And don't ever forget it, bitch. So those two things have really been on my mind. I think really the last thing personally, spiritually, that I wanted to get into before we talk some talk is this is a really important question to beg. So I have recently gotten out of a relationship. I was in a relationship for a little over a year with someone who I was working with at the time, and then I ended up dating long distance, and we went through our own shit, and I'm not going to get into it. Needless to say, I knew the relationship needed to come to an end, probably about partway through the relationship. I think for a while, it was a long time coming, and I believe we both really knew. And there's been, a lot of talk. That relationship taught me so much. It again, really showed me what I want out of a relationship and what I'm willing to work for in a relationship, and also what I don't want in a relationship. I think after the fact, we get into these conundrums of like, how long do I need to be single? Now I need to focus on myself, blah, 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 blah. And there's, there has to be some sort of perfect storm. There's never a perfect storm. Stop fucking asking people their opinions. Stop going and asking other people's opinions on situations in your life. I had to learn that the hard way, you guys. Oh my God. I am a Libra, a people pleaser to my core, literally, and somebody who would ask everybody before themselves, oh my God, what do you think about him? What do you think about this situation? What should I say? What should I do? What would you do? Da, 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 before I'd ever ask me. Now think about the layers of like self-betrayal that I have put myself through because of that. Even when somebody would tell me something different versus what I would want to do, it just would compound. And then I would feel like shit because I betrayed myself and didn't really do what I wanted to do. So stop asking other people's opinions. Everything is different. Everything is different for everyone. But back to the fucking tea about the breakup. Not the breakup, about breaking up. So you break up, whatever. And I think a lot of people, it taught me a lot of things about what I really want. And one of those things was I wanted to be with someone who I've had good true love with. I've had a beautiful true love before, and I wasn't willing to work for it at the time. And it taught me through going through another relationship that wasn't the best that I wanted to be with that other person. And I think oftentimes we get critical on ourselves. I was very critical where I was like, oh shit, like I just got out of a relationship. Am I trying to date this other person? How do I really feel? What is this person going to think? Because I just got out of a relationship, but I've not really been in my relationship. Oh my God. And all of these like literally you guys, a fucking tsunami of thoughts came to my head. And I finally felt at peace where I didn't attach myself to anyone. Once I had really stepped outside of that, I was like, fuck that. There's literally no perfection. This relationship is allowed to teach me something, and I'm allowed to act on that. I'm allowed to have my feelings and not suppress them. I'm allowed to say, wow, I've been with this person, but I actually think this has really taught me that this is the person I want to be with. This is the type of relationship I want to have. And that's normal. Like, that shit can happen. We don't need to be hard on ourselves for things like that. And this is coming from the queen bitch of being hard on herself for stuff like that. Like, it has taken me a long time to learn some very hard fucking, like, long lessons. And at 25, that's okay. We are literally in our 20s. You're not meant to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fuck up. You're going to hurt him. You're going to do this. Like, bad things are going to happen. It's about finding those right people that will stick with you through it, that help you grow and push you to be better, motivate you to step outside of how you currently think and do things differently to activate change in your life. And that's what the fuck matters. And that's kind of the period that I've been through right now. I've lost a lot of friends in the last, even year. I wouldn't say a lot, but I don't have a fuck ton of friends to begin with. I'm a very social person, as you guys know. If you know me personally, you know I'm very social, but I really wouldn't say, there's not a ton of people I would say are my friends. There's social media friends, there's people that you've worked with, there's people, whatever. But my close core group, people that I'm calling that know my business, there's not a lot. And I lost 2 very close people in that group within the last year or so, and that's been really painful. But it's really taught me the process of pruning through what I want. What do you want? When I sit down at night and think, oh, this is painful, what do I really want? What really is that feeling? What will make me feel better? And it always has been this, to be resolved in what I've decided. When I stopped asking for everyone's opinions and seeking validation in everything and really looking for the answers and everything under the sun, and stopped and just said, sit with yourself, journal. And now, with 6 journals later, I feel like I know myself so well, it's painful. Getting out of that relationship, knowing for months and months and months, I don't want to be here. This isn't what I want. This is ultimate. I don't really know if this is going to go anywhere. Am I always going to feel like this? Am I always going to have... I was me telling myself. And sometimes we need those moments where it takes us longer to grasp and grow, but don't ignore what you're telling yourself. Stop asking and listening to everybody else's opinion before you listen to your own. And I think if that's anything that I can impart in this first episode, it would really be that. Amongst everything that we've talked about, amongst all the pieces of, me that I've really exposed on this first episode, I think that would be the biggest thing, is I am a retired people pleaser. I am a former people pleaser, and I will never be one again. Truthfully, it broke me in a lot of ways, and I really realized once I saw that habit, which, guys, I have a good book recommendation for you if you're now on the train and wanting to know more about yourself too. Once you break that, it's such a freeing feeling to walk authentically as yourself. And I think a lot of people before would be like, oh, Jenay is authentic to herself, she's so herself, da da da. But there were so many modes where I wasn't honest with myself. I maybe knew in my heart of hearts one thing, but I wasn't being honest with myself. And that's something that I really needed to start doing and listening to that voice. And part of it, again, was just by stopping asking those around me what they thought about things and just acting authentic to myself. And I never fucking looked back, you guys. So I really hope that, that has helped you. I hope that makes a lot of fucking sense. And I hope that this episode has given you a little bit of a peek about what we're going to really talk about and the topics we're going to dive into. Obviously, my goal is to have guests on, so if you guys have specific guests you want to see, please leave us a comment. Again, our Instagram is opendialogue.pod. Please comment there and let me know anybody that you'd be interested in or topics you'd want me to really discuss. But I appreciate you guys being here and being vulnerable with me. Even in this first episode, this was therapeutic, this was beautiful for me, this was helpful, this was insightful, this was fun, and I can't wait to do it again. I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.